So my name's James Coyne. The lads and team either call me Joe or Joe, and I play left tackle for Westmeath Minotaurs.
Joe, thanks a million for taking time out. It's a very busy week coming up now, especially as one of the team captains. So, Joe, how do you think the season's gone for the team and yourself individually?
For the team, it's been a bit of a weird season with the amount of forfeits and stuff. It was kind of the way the schedule ended up playing out. We played one game and then had like a 2 or 3 month break, and then we ended up playing like 4 games in 6 weeks. So it was quite a weird one for the team. But all we can do is play the games that are there to be played, and luckily we were able to do that this year. So overall, I'm delighted with how we got back to a final, and that was the main goal. Personally, I think it's been a grand season, been a bit up and down, a few penalties which I don't like on myself, but sure, look, that happens.
Happens, and the best thing is that we had a great example of it in the semi-final. Was people maybe making a mistake or giving up big play, but coming back and making it up for it. And a good example of that was Peter Dempsey, who you can't really say was at fault. It was a fantastic pass for the Vipers touchdown, and went up and made a pick six, got a touchdown. And I have to say, on your end, you had a lovely pin and pull for one of our big plays against the Vipers. Do you feel the offensive line now is just starting to motor just perfectly coming into the final? Is it just starting to click? Everything's starting to click as you wish it was?
It definitely seems like that. I hate to say it, but we did kind of struggle early on in the season. I think we kind of struggled to find our identity a bit. Were we a power run team? Or were we a zone run team? We didn't kind of know, so we kind of played around with a few different things. But a semi-final performance where every single offensive touchdown was a rushing touchdown is perfectly, that's going to perfectly line us up for the final, because we do want to get back to that run game, especially with the likes of Rafa and Andrew this year. They're such a good 1-2 punch of speed and power. They both kind of have the same mixture. So yeah, it was a nice time to get the offense going.
I do feel that you touched on it with a couple of games that were postponed due to forfeits. There was definitely scope there for 1 or 2 of those games where we would have fancied ourselves to put a big score up early. And if we got that, I think we would have probably kicked in the thunder gear. But it is good to see that we're kind of peaking at the right time, rather than maybe a couple of years ago when we peaked for the semi-final against the Eagles, and we just kind of just probably inexperience probably kept us from winning that final, I think.
Yeah.
So, Joe, you're actually one of the founding members of the Westmeath Minotaurs. So this is actually a perfect question for you. Is that, what does it mean to you to be a Westmeath Minotaur?
Means a lot. The last, I'm going to be turning 30 this September, and since I was 18, every day has been kind of football related. Do you know what I mean? Be it playing, setting up the club at the start, being one of the founding members there, being at the first meeting for the club even, and to just even just watching the sport or anything like that. I love football to bits, and the club means so much to me, especially seeing the heights we're kind of getting to now. And it would be just lovely in our 10th season as well, because this is our 10th playing season, to finally get that promotion. Because one of the first goals we set down as a club was to get promoted and compete with the best teams in the country. So, there's no better time than now to do it.
Exactly. I think we've a great blend of youth and experience coming through, and we have 2 or 3 good rookie years in the previous couple of years, between even pre-COVID and during COVID and this year. So big game Sunday. Up all roads lead to Belfast. How do you see the final going?
It's going to be a tough game. As soon as we our first ever time playing the Vikings, we bet them 16-0 on their home turf. And I think a lot of people would have walked away thinking that's a great result. But the first thing I thought when we got off the sideline was, that's the best team we're going to play all year. And that's the team we're probably going to meet in the final again. As you were saying about us, I think the Vikings have the same. They have a great mix of that they have very experienced players and very young players as well. So, it's going to be a tough game. Their strengths seem to be kind of their athleticism, where our strength would have been our size over other teams. So it definitely is a good battle of kind of speed versus power. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm nervous as well, but I can't wait to suit up and get the game done with.
I think after that first tackle, that first play, the kind of nerves will all kind of just settle down and this is just hopefully another game, and we're going to come out the right end of it. Yeah. So, Joe, any personal highlights for yourself of the season?
Well, probably the only one I could think of would probably be that semi-final game. It was just beautiful to see the team kind of gel together in that second half, and especially the O-line. It was a really tough game. It was 30 degrees, and I think you kind of see the Vipers fade a bit in the heat, where we kind of in the second half we stepped it up, and we had 2 drives of 60 plus yards, just mainly running the ball. And while it's tiring there and then, after the game you feel a great sense of accomplishment. in that kind of tough, real dirty game.
It was great to see. It was actually the shade definitely helped that day.
The shade and the ice cold water definitely played a big part of that
definitely.
game. Yeah.
So, Joe, as a founding member now, I'm going to ask you this: if you know of any lads who may be watching this video thinking, I've been following you guys on Facebook and YouTube and everything, and I'm a big NFL fan. What would you like to say to them lads to give them maybe the final little push to come on down to training next season?
Well, the sort of person you're describing is a person I know. I know a lot of those lads have talked to me over the years about coming down. And my one thing that I'd also say to them is just do it. Like, just give it a go. Because once lads come down, it's very rare that we have lads leave. Probably at the start of the club, it was hard to kind of retain players because it was messy. We were a bunch of 18, 19, 20-year-olds running the team. But now there's so much more structure in the team at the moment that when lads come down, they don't really leave. Like you're talking about Peter earlier. I think from his first session, he was hooked, and that seems to be kind of common trend the last few years. So if you're thinking about giving it a go, just come down, try it, and you will not regret it.
That's perfect. And as a founding member, we are, as you did say, this is our 10th playing season this year. What's the big difference between day one and today?
Probably say the mentality of the club changed a lot. And to be fair, I think Breno had a big part to play in that. We were always kind of like, we go out and have the crack and we didn't really care about the score. But then when Breno and Bill and Paddy all kind of combined, it did really change the mentality of like, we can still have fun, but we also seen the bigger picture of we can actually achieve quite a lot with the club, and which we were able to do this year. Like we played the Dublin Rebels in the scrimmage. They're one of the best teams ever in the country and probably the best team in the country this year. And then we got to do a charity game, which is huge, and raise so much money, which is a big part of the club, like is helping just helping the local community and everything like that, and then reaching the final. So I think it kind of all just amalgamated lovely into like a very successful season for us.
That's perfect. And finally, any closing comments, any good wishes, anything you want to say to the fans or the boys or anything like that for Sunday?
I don't think a lot needs to be said. I kind of said that at training where they're letting the captains speak, and I didn't really think anything needed to be said. We're at our best when we just show up and play our game. And I think that's all we need to do Sunday. If we show up and play our game to our very best, I think we can beat a lot of teams. So, yeah.
Perfect. Joe, thanks a million for taking time out of a busy week. We'll see you Sunday. Best wishes.
100%.